Today I'm going to be reviewing this Disney Princess Creative magazine. Now, I have long held the belief that just because something is aimed at children doesn't mean it gets to get away with being crappy quality. Now, I was in the shop the other day and I was walking past the magazine aisle and I saw this out the corner of my eye. I'm curious to see if this product is actually any good or not, and whether you should get it for your child. So this costs £4.99? Yes. This costs £4.99 and it's issue number 4. So according to the back, because this is the next one, which is going to be a Tiana one, apparently it's a series. So if this is good, hopefully that means the other ones are good, so you know that you could get the rest of them for your child. There are lots of things on the inside which I'll quickly go through, but I'm mainly focused on this on the outside, because when you look at it, this is the draw to it, not necessarily what's on the inside. So let's open this up and have a go at this activity. Okay, so this thing is hollow plastic. Oh, it does stand up. So I was concerned about that, as to whether it would actually stand up or not, but I guess it does, so that's definitely good. It's very cheap plastic. It's very light plastic. Seems fairly well made, like in the mould, there doesn't seem to be any issues with it. So there's at least that, and it's quite detailed. It's probably hard to see. It's kind of hard to see, but it is quite a detailed mould, so that's pretty good. Right, let's have a look at this paintbrush. Oh, you know, it's not a bad paintbrush. The only issue, it's a little frayed. That's a little annoying, because if we want to get any defined edges or anything, we can't. Colours. I think we've clearly got specific colours, because Rapunzel's got specific colours. We've got some like glitter 3D type stickers. I don't know whether they're for her or for something in the magazine. We've also got these like puffy stickers, you know, the ones that are sort of 3-dimensional. I assume they're just for in general or in the magazine. Not gonna lie, I do kind of like the little paint supplies. They're kind of cute. Even, like, for me as an adult, I quite like them. And then let's see what's actually in this magazine itself. So it's obviously all Rapunzel themed. As I said, there's presumably one for each princess. Not gonna lie, if there was one for the more classic princesses, Ariel, Belle, those ones, I think I'd probably like those myself as an adult. So I might actually just keep an eye out for them, because I do like the Disney princesses. As far as I'm aware, this whole magazine booklet thing is all art based, so the paper's quite nice. Like, this bit's shiny, so you couldn't draw on this, but this feels like actual paper you could draw and paint on, so that's pretty good, because I've seen it before where you get a creative-y magazine like this and it's like that shiny paper, which is very limited in what you can use on it. Aesthetically, it's very nice. Oh, and this is interesting. It actually explains to you how you would go about drawing these. Looking at this, I would say they're aiming it somewhere between like 3 and 7 maybe. But realistically, I think probably 5 to 7. Because, like, I don't think a 3-year-old would quite understand all the writing and stuff in here. But, you know, 5, you've already had a year in school, you'd probably understand some stuff. So this is the page we will need for doing the little activity. So I'll come back to that in a moment. This page is all about using negative space. So that's really interesting. So it tells you to leave the silhouette and paint around it. Doodle page, but it says try some without taking your pencil off the page. So that's quite interesting. There has been some thought put into this. It's not just a colouring book. Look, here they're explaining how to do a plait, something I still struggle with. Yeah, here's showing you how to create birds and lanterns, and then it gives you this full page. And they've done it in the middle so you can pull it out and put it on the wall. Very interesting. So they've definitely put care and attention into this, so that's a definite a good thing in my books. I really like that. So let's see how they tell us to paint this. Paint it, basically, is what it says. That's good. It gives you sort of ways to paint as well. Use the end of your paintbrush or a pencil tip to dab a small blob of green paint. When dry, add a smaller drop of black on top of the green and a little line over the top of her eyes for the lashes if you have white paint. This bit here is obviously white from the thing itself. However, it's a little bit cheeky to say if you have white paint, but you don't have white paint because they didn't give you any. That's a little bit odd. Paint the ribbon on a top by stamping the side of the brush. Well, this brush is very big and they're very small, so I think that's going to be kind of difficult. Also, this is just a little thing I don't quite like. So the model itself is not the same size as the picture. So I think either the model should be bigger or the picture should be smaller for a kid so they can like properly see exactly what they're doing. Because this ribboning is quite small compared to his, so I feel like it's going to be kind of difficult to get that accurately. And I'm an actual artist, so I can't imagine what it's going to be like for a kid. So pretty much it just tells me to paint it. So let's have a look and see what this paint is like now. I've got a square of my own, well, it's actually, I used it for something else, but I'm reusing it. I've got a piece of card. I'm going to try the paints on first because I just want to see what the, what the texture is like. The green's for our eyes. So they couldn't give us white for the tiny thing, but they'll give us green for the tiny section of her eyes. Okay. What's the biggest section? Her skirt seems to be the biggest section, apart from, obviously, her hair. Let's start with her skin first, because I think that will probably be the easiest to get out of the way. I'm always very careful of these pots, because I'm always scared they'll just... Paint seems fairly thick, actually. I was expecting it to be much thinner. It's not that bad. It's, it's got the consistency of like a poster paint type thing. Let's just go straight into using it on her. I think there's no point in waiting. Now, I am interested to see how this will stick because this is quite smooth plastic. God, this is really, it's a big brush for a tiny project. Let's do her bosom area first. Now, in the magazine, it says to do 2 coats of the paint, which I am not going to do because I can't be arsed, to be honest. But also, 1 coat doesn't look too bad, really. Also, I don't know what kid would actually do 2 coats of paint. Slather it all over her face. The paint's not sticking, really. Like, the whole point of using paper or canvas or something is that the paint partially sinks into the surface you're using, which is what helps it dry and bond to the surface. Whereas because this is such a smooth plastic, it doesn't really... It's kind of just moving all over the surface. So, like, I go to brush it in one area and it removes it from another one. The physical bristles are actually not that bad, but the size of the paintbrush is a bit of a bother. I think I should probably do her hair last because it's the bit I have to hold on to. So let's do the next smallest section, which are her sleeve things. I thought it would be like extremely runny, but it's not. It's it's a decent paint. Let's paint these pink, and then to do the lines, I'll go over it. Yeah, that is definitely not the same pink as in the magazine. I mean, to a kid, they're probably not going to notice that much, but I noticed. Oh, that paint's very weird. It's like it's been exposed to air, so it's like starting to clump up. Ah, you can see the paintbrush starting to split. Yeah, that's what I thought might happen. See, it says in the magazine to do 2 thin coats, which I'm not going to do. But I honestly think this would take more than 2 coats, actually. Because again, it doesn't stick to the plastic like it would if it was porous material. And let's do a skirt now. You know how I said they didn't give us any white for the highlight? Why give us black for such a small part and not give us white for such a small part? Doesn't really make sense. See, now I know these brushes don't cost very much because I think it was last year sometime I did a review of a bunch of products from Wilko's, which is like a discount type shop in England, and they had a set of brushes like this, similar size, for I think they were either £1 or £2. I'll link it in the iCard, and if you're interested you can go watch it. So those brushes were very cheap, and you got like 5 brushes, you didn't just get one. So I still don't see why they only gave us the one brush. I'm supposed to be leaving sections of this white, like the underneath of her skirt, but honestly it's kind of difficult to do that because it's so small. But if they'd have given us a white paint, I could have fixed it, but no. See, like here, I can't really get my brush in there without touching her hair. And also, if you look, there's a gap here where we're supposed to paint her hair later. No idea how I'm going to do that without getting yellow paint everywhere. Part of me is just giving up trying to not get it on other stuff. Now, I can kind of see her face has started to dry. Yes, her face has almost dried because it stopped being shiny, so that's kind of cool at least. It means you can tell without touching it if it's dry or not, so that's kind of interesting. I think if this model was the same size as the magazine one, it'd actually be not as bad to paint with this brush because it's slightly bigger. Now, I don't have children, but I have a little sister, and when she was younger, because she's 8 years younger than me, she's not a patient person. I mean, most little kids are. So I can't see a child going out their way to get a pencil and paint the green on the eyes. I would see them just trying to use the same paintbrush, so that's what I'm gonna do. There is no way you can use the end of your paint. Use the end of your. There is no way I can do this with the end of the paintbrush. It's just too thick. Ugh. Just for reference, let's get a detailed brush and show you what I mean. This isn't the thinnest brush I've got because I think my other one's downstairs, but it'll do for now. So this is I don't know because all the stuff's come off because it's an old brush, but this is a fairly small brush, but it's the fact it's got a point on it, it's not square. Right, so I've got my paint. Let's try and do this with this brush. Not perfect, but much better than the other one. So, you know, that's what I mean by saying you can't just have a square brush and expect someone to be able to do all the little minutiae details with a square brush. So, it says to use the side of the brush, but in the picture the brush is like perfectly formed, and obviously now this brush has just started to go off the deep end in terms of structure. This is almost impossible to get every little string without it just, well, not working. I'm just going to glob on her eyes and she can deal with it. So this is a brush that's meant for lettering. So it's got like a long bristle. Now again, obviously a kid wouldn't have access to this because they were only given the little square brush, or apparently use a felt tip pen, which I don't even think would work over this paint. But again, that means you'd have to have something else to complete this little project. She looks terrifying. The other problem is when you're painting the face, you can't avoid the whites of the eyes, so the whites of her eyes are just skin coloured. I have to do. It looks like she's had a really rough night out. Right, there's her feet, shoes, whatever, done. And then all that's left to do is her hair. And they've got a few flowers here, which I might do. I probably won't do though, because I can't be arsed. Look at that brush now, the more I've used it. Now, she does have eyebrows, which I will attempt to do. Not bad, I guess. Let's just do a hair. Right, I finished painting my Rapunzel and I held a hairdryer on her just to dry her because I couldn't be bothered to wait. This is going to be a kind of difficult thing to review because I almost want to view the magazine and the activity separately, but they do come as one package, so I'm going to have to keep it as one. So let's start with the quality of the materials. Now that obviously goes more for the activity than the booklet. However, the booklet is of high quality. The paper is actually quite nice. I think it'd be quite easy to draw or paint on. This, however, not as good. So I think, like I said, the plastic is very hollow quality. You know, I mean, it's plastic at the end of the day. Plastic's hard to rate as quality. I don't see this as very quality, but someone else might. The paint is okay. It would probably be better if what I was painting was more of a porous material and not a hard plastic. So the paint itself it's fine. It's cheap paint. It does what it says on the tin. It's fine. The little gluey sort of shiny stickers, these things that came on a sheet, they're not great. So I don't know if I've stuck a few onto her, but some of them came off without any sticky background on them. So that's not great. These puffy stickers are actually quite nice. I stuck one onto this piece of paper. It sticks. It feels quite nice. So these are quite good. And I think I might actually keep some of these and stick them on my computer or something because I kind of like them. This, however, is the worst quality thing to me. I mean, look at that. Look at that paintbrush after it's been used and cleaned. It's just... You could probably try and reform it, but it's never going to go quite back to where it should be, so that's annoying. So this is crap. So for quality, out of 10, just this alone, I'd give it like an 8. I think some things could be more clear in them. Some of the instructions are a little bit iffy, so I'd give this a 7. This gets like a 2. So overall, I'll give the quality a 5. It's not bad, it's not great either, it's just kind of middle of the road. And then in terms of usability, again, doesn't really cover for this one because it's just drawing and stuff like that. The usability of this is more what influences this score. I think if I'd have had 2 brushes of slightly better quality, one that's much smaller, because it was very hard to get like the little places without getting paint everywhere else. So usability wise, like a 3, I guess. I want to give it lower, but at least does paint. Yeah, I can't really justify giving it any higher than a 3. So the final thing, which is probably what most parents will look for as well as would my kid enjoy this, is it worth the cost that you're paying? So like I said, it was £4.99, aka a £5. I think that's somewhere around $7. I'm not quite sure of the conversion, you'll have to figure out yourself. I would say it's worth it, to be honest, because even without this, I think this booklet alone is probably worth a £5 because it's pretty good and it's a fairly comprehensive booklet of how to draw this, that and the other. This section probably not, so I'm going to knock a couple of points off for that. So I'm going to give this worth it an 8. So overall we had a 5, a 3 and an 8, so we've got a 16 out of 30. Not great, you know, slightly above average, you know, as in 15 would be the average. If it was just this alone, it would probably get a much higher score, but this activity, which is right on the front, it takes up most of the cover when you're just looking at it. This is its selling point. This is what would draw a child in. 16 out of 30 seems more than fair, to be quite honest. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed me slowly losing my mind trying to paint this piece of garbage. So if you liked this video, please give it a like. If you really liked it, consider subscribing. If there are any other things you'd like me to review, please let me know. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!